Okay, it's just the sun. Okay, it's very simple. One thing that's missing here is the sun. Clear? So far, so good. The water cycle is similar to what? Evaporation? Not really. After that, condense. Very good. Yeah, you're coming close already. Evaporate, then condense. So you must go to vapor, then you must go to water. Then the water evaporate and become or evaporate or boil. So there's a cycle. So the cycle is shown in distillation only, right? So it should be distillation. Remember earlier in this picture, it's very similar to this. Going up to the cloud, then come back as liquid, then can go up again. But filtration and all that, the rest of them are not two ways. It's all one way only. Like evaporation is just one way. You don't condense it back into liquid. But if you condense it back into liquid, then it's two way. Okay, so the answer is B. Okay. Number 3. The following shows a plan of obtaining drinking water from brine, salt solution. This method is similar to, okay, the key word here is salt solution. How do you get salt from a solution? It's one of the most fundamental basic ones. Is it filtration? When you filter, does the salt get stuck in the filter paper? Here, incoming solar radiation, distillate, condensation, collection of condensation. So again, there's a process of making it into vapor and making it into liquid. So again, it is very good. So all of you are getting the idea of distillation already. Understand? And questions can be in many forms, but still talking about distillation. So by now, right, you have reinforced in your head about distillation. Distillation is always about boiling, turning the liquid into vapor, and then the vapor turning back into liquid somehow, thereby you separate two substances from a mixture. And it's very similar to the water cycle. Then you can remember like the cloud and the sea, which is a normal water cycle that we know of in basic science. Okay, so that's here already. Three questions of distillation. Are we going to do any more? Let's read the number 4. A solid mixture of ammonium chloride, let's underline the substances, ammonium chloride and sodium chloride, which is a common salt. The salt that we have in our food is called sodium chloride, can be separated by heating. During the separation, can be separated by heating. They just put it bluntly, heating. They didn't really tell you is it filtration or chromatography or distillation. They just say heat. Okay. During this separation, the ammonium chloride sublimes into vapor. Now, this is a new term. Some of you who have read extensively may know this term. Some of you may not know this term. Okay, I'll explain that in a while. If you know what it is, you can help me type it down so that your classmates here can understand what it's sublime. Okay. The ammonium chloride is then deposited on the cool surface of the inverted funnel, which is on your diagram, which is a solid particle. This method of separation works because, okay, now this is a method called sublimation then. Heating until it sublimes. Yes, very good. Jasperan. When not gas to solid, but solid to gas, okay? When a solid is heated up, it doesn't go through the liquid state, but goes straight to a gas state, is called sublime. Okay. Many of you may have seen this thing called dry ice. How many of you have seen something called dry ice? is actually solidified carbon dioxide. Ice, okay? What happens to dry ice? They give it to you usually when you buy ice cream cake or ice cream, they put it in your bag. Yeah, sometimes in wedding they put, yeah, correct. Why do they use dry ice? Why is it called dry ice? Because the ice doesn't get wet. Your normal ice in the kitchen, you take it out, it gets wet. So messy. You got to wipe down. Okay? But this ice doesn't get wet at all. So your ice cream that you bring home, your cake that you bring home doesn't get wet. It just goes from the solid state to a gas state straight away. So they use it in wedding for keeping the place dry. So because the moment it's supposed to be kept very cool, but once it's in heat or in contact with hot environment, it sublimes straight turn away to gas. So you can see the vapor in the air, which is all white in color, which is a visual effect created in a wedding, right? So usually it's kept in a cold box. You take it out of the box, it comes in contact with heat because it has reached its sublimation temperature. Immediately it sublimes, moves from the solid state to the gas state without going through the liquid state. That is sublimation. So this is an example of that. It's a little bit advanced, but it's still good knowledge for you to know what sublimation is. And they tell you here that it sublimes. This method works because, why? Okay, let's read. Is it B? Which one can we eliminate? Really not this. This question has to do with heat, right? Nothing to do with magnet, right? So question A is there as a nonsense answer. You can just eliminate it. One solid has a higher boiling point than the other. Maybe, maybe not. Can we find a better answer? One solid is soluble in water while the other is not. They already said it's a mixture of solid ammonium chloride and salt. There's nothing to do with whether it's solid. If you want to dissolve it, then you usually use filtration. So it's not either. Okay, so can be D. One solid vaporizes upon heating while the other solid does not. Yeah, vaporizes, becomes a vapor straight away. That's why we use this method. Okay, so we can separate it even without it being a liquid and messing about with the solution. Understand? It's a very clean separation. Okay, it just separates because one actually vaporizes. Once you know the knowledge, you say, okay, let's heat it up. Once you heat it up, this ammonium chloride was going to sublime and just take off from the bottom, and we can collect it on the top. And the bottom one, the other one, which is salt, doesn't vaporize, so it will stay down there. This answer is D. Okay. Later, when you get a copy of this, right? When you get a copy of this, you will be able to read the full explanation over here. Nikhil, if you don't understand, just read up. And if you have more questions, you can ask me. Okay. So just if anybody else don't understand, we can go through to it together quickly. Sublimation is a change in state of solid to gas, right? Why is not B? Okay. Because they said this method of separation, right? It's not a boiling point. You know what is a boiling point? A boiling is from liquid to gas. This is the definition of boiling. Here, ammonium chloride did not boil. It vaporized. You understand? So that's the key part over here. Okay. Next, finally, we come to something that is much more simpler, which is filtration. A colorless solution of sodium chloride is added to a colorless solution of silver nitride. Now, the key word is colorless. Because it's colorless, you can't see the difference because they are mixed together. And the two items are sodium chloride and silver nitrate. Never ever to be too confused with the name of the chemicals, okay? Just take it as two items, okay? Two things. It's easier. If you are really going to be confused with chemical names, then you need to know chemical names much more in depth when you go to Sec 3 and Sec 4. But right now, just take it as there are two items that are mixed together and they are colorless. What are the properties? Okay, white precipitate okay, of silver chloride suspended in a solution of sodium nitrate is formed.